I'm going to tell you the most astoundingly embarrassing process that I have, especially this one particular episode, and how I discovered this unloving, unconscious part of me, how I changed it into loving and conscious way to be more loving and conscious so that the world around me can have a better version of me. Hi, my name is Patty, and that's exactly what this channel is all about. And I want to thank every subscriber here. I've just hit my 1,000 mark, my 1,000 subscriber mark yesterday, and I am so grateful that you find my message and what I'm trying to share and my vision of making this a more loving world by changing ourselves, because that's all we can do. So I'm going to tell you this story about how I found this unloving, unconscious behavior. So every month or so, I go up North Florida to go see my favorite author, teacher. His name is Michael Singer. Some of you know him. You've heard of him. You've read his book, The Surrender Experiment, The Untethered Soul. And a group of us who hang out in the spiritual world together, we do these activities together. One of them is this really great guy who is wonderful. He's in his 40s. He's black. He's very well adjusted, very successful guy. And in this group of people, as we meet at the Temple of the Universe in Alachua, Florida, I asked my friend Jimmy, I said, hey, do you want to come to my cousin's play today? He's playing in a band, and I'd love for you to come see it. And it's really going to be fun. And he said, sure. So he follows me over to this one little place called Rum 138. You can look it up on YouTube. Rum 138 is a great place to hang out, but it is the only place to hang out in North Florida. It also happens to be where my ex-husband lives. And on Sunday afternoons, this is the only place where all the rednecks, and I can say redneck because I am one, all the rednecks hang out. They're drinking beer, they're doing their thing. And I get there, and my friend follows me. He gets out of the car, and I'm just walking ahead of him because I see my ex-husband sitting with his girlfriend. And I have something to say to him. And my cousin's listening to me. I go up to my ex-husband, and I said, hey, listen, in an attempt to quell his curiosity before he even asked me, I said, no, I'm not dating this guy. He's just a friend. He says, I don't care. And my cousin looks over at me and says, why'd you say that? I'm like, was that wrong? He says, yeah, it was wrong. Let him think what he wants to think. Why do you have to change his perception of you? I'm like, oh. And then I thought about it. And thanks to my cousin's feedback, a retired postal worker who loves to give me feedback, and I'm so grateful that he did, I was trying to control my ex-husband's perception of me. And I started realizing that's what I do in a lot of places. With a lot of people, I try to control people's perception of me. And if I think their perception is wrong, I try to change it. So the way life goes for me, I don't know about you, I got another chance at it. I got another chance at hitting the ball again. And let me see if I'm going to strike out this time. So I'm with some friends at breakfast, and one of them asked me a question. I answered the question, I asked her a question, and the next thing I know, she has a litany of everything wrong with me, of everything I've ever done wrong, of how I've done this and how I've done that. And my first reaction was to want to change her perception of me, to justify my behavior, why I did what I wanted to do, why I did what I did. And it wasn't about her, it was about me, right? So I sit there and I listen. And so I remember this little lesson, this little observation. And as I'm observing me, wanting to change her mind, wanting her to change her perception of me and what I was going through, I decided I could just keep my mouth shut. And that's what I did. I just listened. I gritted my teeth because I didn't like what I heard. I didn't approve of it, but this is her experience. And I just kept observing how upset I was getting, that I was not doing anything about it, but I was just really doing the observation part, and it was 100% true. My cousin was 100% true and accurate and factual in that I try to change other people's opinions of me. And so I decided that was going to be my practice. I was going to start becoming aware of it, of how I want people to perceive me. And I have gotten so much practice that the lesson had to get even bigger than that. Bigger than a friend saying, this is what you've done and I feel hurt. No, it had to be even bigger than that, where my standing in a community would be changed because of someone's opinion of me. And I have tried changing this woman's opinion of me, and it never worked. It still hasn't worked. And so what do? I just remove myself. But it's fascinating, isn't it, that we try to control other people through their perception of us? And sometimes what I do is I will contort myself. This is just an offshoot, but I'll contort myself. I change myself. I'll make myself into a pretzel so you will like me, so that you will approve of me. Yep, that's part of the changing the perception too. If I'm good enough, you'll like me. So I'm just going to tell you that was my process, but there's also that lesson that I'm hoping that you're hearing in this, that we don't have to change other viewpoints of people. We don't have to do anything, because if they can't accept us who we are, I don't have to argue with them. Okay, it's like what Mel Robbins says, let them. But I wanted to share with you that process, and I'll wrap it up with this. My process was I did something unconscious because I wasn't aware of it and unloving. Somebody gave me feedback. I wasn't happy to hear the feedback, but I welcomed the feedback. So it gave me another perspective when I have feedback, and I would welcome you and invite you to try asking for feedback. It's not pleasant, but I would ask you to try. Then when I took that feedback, I decided to apply the feedback, to apply what I learned, to start observing me in my usual native state of how I try to change people's opinion of me or their perception of me. And then I noticed how often I did it. And then the next thing I did was just keep my mouth shut, so I didn't try to do that, and notice how difficult it was for me. And I had a therapist once say, if you're trying something new and it's really, really hard, you're doing the right thing. You're doing the healthy thing. And then I would just keep practicing that over and over. When I would get in a situation where my knee-jerk reaction was, no, that's not true. And just let them be. Let them think what they want to think. I know who I am, and I don't have to fit in anymore, and neither do you. All you have to do is know who you are in your heart. And if somebody is disappointed in you, it happens. You didn't mean to do it. You were following your life. And if somebody feels hurt by you, make an apology. This doesn't have to be a big deal, but can you see how my unconscious and unloving behavior was hurtful to people, but mostly to me? If it's for me, it's for you too. I promise 100%. And today I'm reading from Each Day a New Beginning. Just real quickly, it says, wanting to control other people to make them live as we'd like them to live makes attainment of serenity impossible. And serenity is the goal we are seeking in this spiritual practice in this life. And so we are each powerless over others. We have no control over other people, places, and things, which relieves us of a great burden when we think about it. Controlling our own behavior is a big enough job. I know. Learning to behave responsibly takes practice. So that is what I'm sharing with you today. I hope you found that to be helpful, that you can find those unconscious, unloving parts of you. And if you're one of these people who don't have any unconscious, unloving parts of you, good for you. But if you're also willing to look and ask for feedback about how you are in the world, welcome it, invite it, and learn from it. I love you, and have a good one. And oh, by the way, if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and share this with somebody, because you know there is. I love you.